Alright, welcome to another version of masking in Photoshop. This version I'm going to show you how to use the pen tool. And that'll be right there. You click on that. You can see you got different versions and different shapes. And we're just going to focus on this one right here. So what we're going to be doing is taking this pen tool and using that to make a mask for our penguin. If you're unfamiliar with the pen tool, it's basically like in any other program. It's a Bezier curve. And once you choose your pen tool, you can click once and you'll see a point right here. If you click again, you can make straight lines. But if you actually click and hold the mouse button, it'll make a point. But if you're still holding the mouse button and drag out, this is where it'll make the curve. If you let go of the mouse, you'll have your point, and these are the handles on which you can move the curve. So if you hold down your left control button, you can see that your pen tool has now turned to an empty cursor, by which you can use that to drag the handles and shape the curve you just made. So with that, we're going to cut out our penguin. So first thing you want to do is you want to go to your background layer, and you want to make that a new layer. So you can double click on that, or you can even grab that little menu there and say duplicate layer. But for now, we're just going to make this one a layer. And what we're going to do is, if you watch the other video, we're going to make a new color layer and fill it with a color that is way different than any other color inside of our image. This way we'll put it below our image, and that'll serve as a guide, and it'll help us in looking at our edges to make sure they're nice and clean. So with that, and I just filled it with red. It seems like don't see any red in the image, so seems like a logical color. So we'll select our layer again that we're going to mask out. And at this point you want to go to layer and layer mask. So you want to reveal all. So now we'll just have an empty mask layer. To begin, make sure you have your mask layer selected, and make sure you have the color black chosen. This will hide the image. The color white will reveal the image, but we want it black. And you want to make sure that's on the foreground color. So with that, you can select your zoom magnifying glass or however you want. Hit the space bar to make your hand pop up so you can actually move the image around so you can see what you're doing. And you want to grab your pen tool And what's cool is once you have your pen tool selected, you can actually pull down or hit the space bar, hold down the space bar, and click and drag the image around. And then once you let go of the space bar, your pen comes back up. So it makes it a lot easier. So now to begin, you can actually begin anywhere you want, but I'm actually beginning outside of the image. So you just click once, and you want to click and hold your mouse button so you can drag out your little points, and you can kind of get it close to where you want. Let go of the button and click in another spot and do the same thing. Hold down your space bar to get your hand so you can move the image, and once you let go of the space bar, your pen tool comes back. Once you get used to this, you can work yourself up an image, and you can work up yourself a rhythm, so you can actually do it fairly quick. And this way you can drag it out. Sometimes it helps to work a little bit at a time. Because sometimes it doesn't work out like you want. Alright, once you get a little bit ahead and you're at your point where you want to stop, you can let go of the mouse button. Don't click it yet, because we got to close the path now. You can hold down the space bar, get your hand tool, and you can just click anywhere inside the image that you're actually masking out. And you can just keep going until you get to the point at the very beginning. This is where you want your points to meet, because you want to close the path so you can fill it. So now watch what happens to the cursor as I get to the very first point. If you could see, there's like a little circle right next to the pen cursor. That means this path is going to be closed. So once you see that, you can click on it and it'll close the path. Now once you have the path closed, you can actually you can hold down the control button, the left control, select your path, and you can actually click on the little points and actually still move them, because it's actually not a selection yet. Once you have that in place, you can actually put your cursor over the curve and make sure it's on. You're selecting on the image. If you actually go outside of the image and you right click, there'll be nothing there. So if you actually go to the image and right click, make sure your path is selected and go make selection. And you can actually feather this if you want, but for this we won't. You can kind of play around with this. Make sure it's a new selection. Just click OK. And as you see, our path has now turned into the marching ants. So now you can go over to your layer, make sure your mask layer is selected. And you got the black color. You can go fill and use the foreground color. Just click OK. Now at this point you can go up to select, deselect, or our selection tool right there, and just click outside of the selection, and then it'll deselect it. And you can see that it matched it out, but it wasn't close. And this is the reason why we got the red in the background, is so we can actually see our selection and what is masked out. And you can take care of that by later on, or you can actually draw another path where you can go reselect, and you can grow your selection until it reaches a little bit inside of your image. For now, you can see right there, it's kind of good. So we're actually going to do really quick mask to finish this up. And as you can see, the more you pull the handles out, and at this point you can hit the control to move the handles around. And once you hit the control and move one of the handles around, let go of control, and you have to actually go to the point you were just at. And if you see that little backslash, just click on that. Now see, this handle's out too much. I'll actually zoom in on it. You see where our curve is going. So we'll take this handle and move it back a little bit, just like that. I'm just doing this real quick, so it does take some time to get used to how to use the pen tool. And sometimes it just makes masking a lot simpler, a lot quicker. And so once you get the rhythm of how to use these tools, sometimes it's a lot quicker. And then right click, make selection, go with the black, make sure you're good. Not the best masking job with this, but I'm in a hurry. But basically that's how you use that tool. So once you're done, we'll just leave it at this for the moment. Once you're done, don't forget to delete your color layer here, and then apply. You can go to layer, go to layer mask, and hit apply. And then you can save it as whatever you want. But that's the basics of using the pen tool as a mask. And you can get, what's cool about the pen tool though is you can get in to a lot of these little crevices where other tools cannot get. Just makes it a lot easier most of the time. Oh, that's it for this one. Just kind of play around with that tool before you start using it masking, or just go ahead and start using it while masking.